tool. Yeah, just before I proceed, introducing okay, all right, thank you for muting your mic. Before I introduce the facilitator for today, my name is Kola Oli Ajiboye, and I'll be the host. While we have a Microsoft certified trainer and a Microsoft professional, Tunde, which is going to be facilitating today's training. He has got a lot of years of experience as far as Power Platform is concerned, and he's here willing to upload some of his skills to us, basically. Yeah. So in case we have questions, you feel free to use the raise hand functionality while you're being called on. And also, it is advised that we all mute our mics until there is need for us to unmute, right? And also, I want to believe we all have a strong internet and our device so that we can move as fast as planned. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm now going to hand over to Babatunde. Babatunde Akode, over to you, please.
All right. Hello, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me.
I can hear you, please.
All right, great. All right, yeah, so good evening, everyone. Nice to meet with us. And yeah, just like Kola already said, yeah, my name is Babatunde Akonde. So I'll be taking today's class for the Power Platform. I believe majority of us that are here are probably beginners, people who are just hearing about Power Platform, or you just want to learn what it is and understand how to use these tools, right? So, and that's what I'm going to be walking us through, some sort of introduction around what exactly is this Power Platform. Probably you've been hearing it for a while, or you've been hearing it more recently. Power Platform. What exactly is it? How can you use it? How can you learn these skills and all of that? So that's what we are going to be talking about today. So today's session is going to be more general introduction to this Power Platform. So I'll just walk us through a couple of things that we need to know before we get fully hands-on and how we can use these tools. So it's right. So I'll just share my screen now. I have a short presentation I would like to make. So that's all right. So can someone confirm they can see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Clearly.
All right. Great. Thanks for the confirmation. Okay, so introduction to Power Platform. So just like I said, I believe a lot of us have been hearing about it. You're probably curious to what exactly is this Power Platform and all of that. That's why we are here today. So yeah, what exactly is Power Platform? It's a collective term for Microsoft applications. You have the Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, and Power Virtual Agents, right? And Microsoft has given us this application or designed these applications to help different organizations and employees, to build powerful solutions with little or no code, and also help them improve their productivity within the business. So Microsoft has actually come up with this idea of we all know the customary way that when you want to build an application, you have to write code. You've always been hearing about coding, people programming, developing applications. You've heard about software developers and all of that. So, but then it takes a lot of time and effort to build applications and solutions, right? So Microsoft came up with the idea of, okay, how about to come up with a particular kind of solution that still, achieves the same goal at the end of the day, which is you being able to build those applications, build those solutions that you have in mind without necessarily having to, write codes or write a lot of codes, just like you would do, because a lot of people have to run away from coding when they see how hard it is for you to build those applications. And when organizations also need to build applications, you probably have to go and call somebody externally who will charge them very high to build those applications that they need. So it's got thought of a way that they can still organizations can still make use of or build these applications even themselves, right, without even having any prior coding knowledge, and then it will still achieve the same goal of building a solid business application that solves some certain problems within the organization. So that's how Power Platform came about. So just like I mentioned, there are four of them, which will be going into details one after the other. So the first one we have is the Power Apps. So Power Apps helps you to develop custom business application, just like you said, with little or no code. So everything on that Power Platform, they are low code. We call it low code, no code applications, right? So they help you build those applications without or with writing very little code, right? So it helps you to build quick business application that are very, very user friendly and can work seamlessly on both your mobile devices and your PCs, right? So some of the examples could include leave request application, expense management, and the likes. And the idea of Microsoft in coming up with these Power Apps is for organizations to be able to turn their ideas into solutions and also enabling everyone to build custom applications that solves business challenges, right? So what this means is, just like I mentioned earlier, Microsoft came up with that idea of people being able to build applications that will solve a lot of problems or challenges within a particular business. So Power Apps helps you to do that. So you can use it to build a certain user-friendly application, put your design and make it look, whatever way you want it to look, and customize it just for your organization, right? So maybe there are certain processes that you use within your organization, and you want a specific solution that is tailored to match that sort of process within your organization. You can just use Power Apps, and almost anyone within the organization can use these Power Apps to build their solutions. That's actually the main idea. So you don't have to go and call an external developer who will charge you very high to build these applications, or you have to go and meet the IT department. Even someone who is not in the IT department can actually pick up Power Apps and get to use it. So in case you are here and either you are planning to transition into tech, maybe you are not in the tech field already, or maybe you are even in tech already and you are looking for what skills to learn, or you are probably already working in an organization, you work in the HR department, you work in the finance department. You don't necessarily need to transition into tech before you learn these tools, right? There are tools that you can use even for yourself. Maybe for your daily task, you can build an application that would make your work much easier. Or you can build an application that will be used by the entire company. So for example, you are in the HR department and you feel like the onboarding process is too manual, you can just build an application with Power Apps that would help you to achieve that much faster, and it will be more digital, right? Of course, we are now in a digital world. Nobody wants to be using paper anymore. So an example of an application you can build, like I said here, is like a leave request, or let's say an onboarding application, right? So let's say you are in the HR. I want to just use that use case. You are in the HR department, and maybe when you want to onboard a new employee, you need to give them certain forms to fill in, and you have to put their information, submit it, you document it. Maybe there are certain people that need to sign, maybe the head of HR needs to sign. You need to send it to different departments. Then you have to probably send some emails to a particular department like IT to say, okay, help them create this account, give them this access. You need to send, a lot of things come up when you are trying to onboard an employee. So rather than doing that, you can just build a simple application with Power Apps where all the person needs to do is just, open their phone or their web and log into the application and fill in all the necessary information, and every other thing afterwards is sort of automated, and it goes to the next person that needs to approve. You get the information immediately, the person fills the form, and all of that. So that's what Power Apps helps you to do. So the automation part I just mentioned will lead me to this second part, which is Power Automate. So Power Automate is another tool in Power Platform, which helps you to automate some repetitive business processes. So what that means is you have certain processes that um, you do manually every time, right? Rather than you having to, spend a lot of time doing this thing over and over again. Of course, it probably already has a particular flow of how you do it every single day, right? You can use Power Automate to automate those kind of tasks, those repetitive tasks, right? So you can think of something like maybe there's a particular task you do within your organization, and you're looking for a way to, maybe you have to do it every single day, right? And maybe it takes you hours of your day to do them. You can think of Power Automate as something that can help you to automate that kind of process, right? So going back to our onboarding application that I mentioned earlier, so say you've already built a Power Apps where someone goes to, fills the information on the app, and then you submits the information, right? There is another person that probably needs to get a notification, right? So the person that will be notified, let's say after the user submits, the HR person needs to be notified that, okay, so person has submitted this particular information. Can you take a look? Then you know what to do if you feel like, okay, everything the person has put in is fine and you want to approve it or you want to reject it, the request, so that the person refills the form. So let's say when you approve, you want it to also automatically send an email to the IT department to say, this person, you're onboarding this person, kindly assist in creating this particular thing. Maybe there's another unit that needs to provide the person like a laptop and all of those things. So all of those processes, rather than you having to do them manually, as long as it has a particular series of some particular series of steps that you need to take, right? You can just Power Automate so that when the person submits the request, then it automatically goes to the next person. Next person takes the action that he needs to take. It goes to the next person, and every other thing, afterwards is kind of automated. So that's what Power Automate helps you to do. So the goal is to help you boost business productivity by getting more done, by giving everyone the ability to automate their organization. Just like you can see the word everyone is coming up again. So which means just almost everyone can use it. And that's the beauty of the Power Platform. So it doesn't necessarily even have to be something that is used by the entire organization. It might be something that just you yourself, something you do. Maybe you need to send a report every day to your manager or something. You can just automate something that will help you, collect the report and send that report at a particular time. So that is going to save you, hours of your days. So let's say you spend 1 hour every day doing that, collecting the report. If you're able to automate that process, then you don't need any manual input anymore. That means you would have saved yourself over 20 hours of work at the end of the month. And that's a lot, right? And you can use those hours to, be more productive and focus on other things that, you cannot automate, that, you need manual effort to achieve, right? Okay, so another one we have is Power BI. So Power BI is a business analytics tool that allows you to create reports and dashboards so that you can gain insights, into your data. So it also has a rich visualization, which gives you. Is somebody saying something? Okay. So it gives you a rich visualization that helps you gain. Okay. So you have the view to see all your data, in a 360-degree view just by looking at it. If you look at something like this chart that I have, yes, hello. Somebody saying something. Okay. All right. So if you look at this right-hand side, you see an example of a Power BI report, right? So this Power BI report is actually connecting to a particular data source and showing you some data graphically, right? So those data are probably like in numbers and text, right? But it's giving you like a visual view of that data. I'm sure you have seen different charts, different diagrams and all of that. We all did mathematics in school where we have bar charts, pie charts, and all of those things. Those things are to pass you information across, right, visually. So let's say you have a total of 100 students, going back to like our statistics back in the school now. Let's say you have a total of 100 students in a class, and it said how many people got between 5 to 10, how many people got between 20 to 30, and all of those things, right? You can have a chart that shows you all of those things. You don't have to start going through one record. It will be quite stressful for you to start going through everybody's details, like 100 people, one after the other, and checking their scores, and now writing out, okay, this person these are the people that got this. So, but Power BI just gives you that possibility to connect to your data source and make more sense out of it, right? Just gives you a visual or graphical view of those set of data. So that's what Power BI helps you to do. And it's majorly for like analysis of your data, right? And the goal is to make informed and confident business decision by putting a data-driven insight into everyone's hand. And you can see the word everyone coming up again, right? Which means almost anyone can just use this to build a report, connect to a particular data source, and make informed decision. And the reason why organizations are interested or will be interested in a tool like this is because, of course, they want to also know what is going on. Data is actually something that is very, very important, especially in the world of today. You need to be able to know what exactly is going on. For example, let's say you have an organization and you feel like maybe at some point you are not making much sales as you were making before, right? If you have a data of what has been happening in the last few years with your business, that will help you to be able to understand what exactly is going on. Why are you not making as much sales as you used to anymore, right? You can look at the data and see, okay, between maybe around last month, last year, January, for example, maybe you're able to make more sales, right? Maybe you notice that maybe there's a trend in the last 5 years that, okay, maybe around January, you make more sales. Maybe towards the ending of the year, you see that the sales goes down. So that will help you understand, okay, why exactly is this sales going down at this period in time, right? And you understand, okay, these are the things we need to now do to increase our sales within this period as well. So it helps you to make those business decisions because you're already having a data that is giving you an insight into whatever is going on. You can see what is like a trend of what has been happening in the previous, and you can use that to predict whatever will happen later on. So that's what Power BI helps you to do. Then we have Power Virtual Agent. So Power Virtual Agent is another tool in Power Platform, which is the last one. So what Power BI helps you to do is it helps you to, what Power Virtual Agent rather helps you to do is it helps you to create some powerful chatbots, right, that can engage either your customers or your employee conversationally, right? And of course, it's also a low-code, no-code tool as well, right? You don't need any developer or anything to be able to develop this a chatbot with Power Virtual Agent. So if you're wondering what that is, so I'm sure you have seen you've gone to some website and you see some sort of chatbot pop up maybe at the bottom right most of the time, and it's asking you, "I am, will we help you?" You proceed to chat that chatbot. If you can ask the question and say, "Okay, where are your stores?" For example, right? Can give you some directions of different stores. Can give you like information about their products. You can make some inquiries, with that chatbot, right? So something like that can also be done with Power Virtual Agents, where you can build a chatbot now that you can use within your organization. Maybe employees can make inquiries about certain things, or you can go to um, what do I call it now? Like on your website, maybe your public website, and embed that chatbot there, so that your customers can engage the chatbot and they ask questions and they can get information. So we have kind of configured it to say when they ask this kind of questions, these are the answers you should give. When this, so a lot of the information that you would have programmed into it, but all of this, just with simple drag and drop, you'll be able to achieve it. And that's the beauty of it. So going back to our example of an onboarding, I think I forgot to mention that, or using that use case for Power BI, right? We've talked about using Power Apps to build the app where the user can fill in the information, Power Automate to automate all of the notifications, who needs to get what, and automate all of those parts. Power BI can also help you, to gain insight into the data of how many people have we onboarded this year, right? What stage, what's the status? Of course, you can also track the status of the request to say, okay, if it's spending on IT, right? This person is spending on the HR or spending on the finance team or something. With the Power BI now, you can connect that your data that you already have and be able to visualize and see, how many people you've onboarded this year, how many employees, maybe they're having some issues and they've logged it and every other thing. So Power Virtual Agent, you can also like connect it to that same that same onboarding application, right? Of course, all of the things you are inputting will also be stored in a particular data source. I think we will get there at some point as well. So what that means is your Power Virtual Agent as well, you can also put something within your intranet or somewhere where maybe new employees can go in to ask questions from your Power Virtual Agent. Maybe they want to ask questions of, okay, how do I follow up on this? How do I get my laptop? How do I do this? They can ask questions, and based on the process you have internally, you would have to give them some certain response. So that will save a lot of time. And that's one of the benefits of this. It will save a lot of time because this conversation, the person would probably have been having it with somebody else in the organization who is also busy with his or her own work, right? The person is busy, then the other person goes in to ask questions and, is engaging the person. That means the person would have lost minutes or hours of being productive and doing the actual work. But rather than doing that, if there is a Power Virtual Agent that is already in place, the new employee can just go there and ask all of those questions. And then the other person that would have answered it focuses on more other important things, right? And that's where we talk about the increased productivity with Power Platform. Okay, so we've been talking about low code, no code, right? So why exactly should I go into low code? Why should I do no code or low code, right? Of course, we've also heard about being able to write your codes, being able to program. We have a lot of different programming languages that you could learn and all of that. So why exactly should you know no code, right? So, and first of all, I would like to maybe show us a short video, right? So, and I would like us to, pay attention to this because I would like us to contribute at the end of the day to whatever it is. So I want this to be kind of interactive. So that's why I want us to, all pay attention and be very observant. Anything you observe along the line, right? We'll get back to that. So I think it's a very short video of about 3 minutes. So let's stay tuned. Okay, so that's the end of the video. I would like us to unmute and speak, or maybe raise our hands. I hope I can see that from here. I would like to see us, contribute to what you're able to learn from the video, if you're able to get any information or anything you understand from the video. So if you are interested in saying anything, you can just unmute and speak. Hello? I hope you're all together. Okay, Nenman is raising his hand. Okay, so you can unmute and speak.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay. So my little understanding of the video is where the world is headed in terms of automation. We can see from the trucks, driverless trucks, without drivers. We can see even the delivery. Ordinarily now, if you order something online, say from Jumia, a delivery guy will come on a bike or in a taxi. But we can see how in the near future drones will be the ones delivering these things. And interestingly, is the fact that these things are already happening. So I am in the UK, and as soon as I got in here, what I noticed was how technologically advanced they are in this part of the world. Everything literally has been automated. I go to the store, say for instance like ShopRite, and that's I mean Nigeria, but here you go to Asda, Aldi, and the rest. You pick whatever you want to pick, and you don't have to go to a cashier. You just go to the counter, scan, pay, like you self-service literally. So human beings, I worked at Amazon at some point. The level of automation was amazing, was incredible. So seeing this video is just a clear reflection of where the world is at. I mean, permit me to say, not even where the world is going to, but where the world literally is at. I mean, so it's a good thing it's a thing of joy and appreciation that we have this kind of platform where you are educating us and trying to bring us up to speed with all of these things, considering the fact that the world has already moved, and Africa and Nigeria needs to wake up. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Thank you very, very much. All right. Before I make my comments, is there another person that wants to make some other contributions? Any other person? Okay. Because of our time, so just like he has rightly said, right? This is where the world is at, and there is still a whole lot more that needs to be, or well, that will be done with regards to technology, right? So we can see that. Hello?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. Yeah, so we can see that a lot of things are being automated right now. Just like from the videos we have seen, just like I said, I think one of the things they also showed was the Amazon retail store that had 0 employees, right? And you can just go there and think I'm happy is also sharing his personal experience, right? Which makes it at least looks more real, right? Maybe we don't have such in Nigeria yet. At least somebody who is outside is also sharing some of this experience. So there are a lot of things that are getting automated these days because the world is moving so very fast. And we can see different examples from the videos, from the Amazon Amazon store that has 0 employees, like the delivery drone, right? And all of this is even much more faster, right? And when you say they are much more faster, it means, for example, when you have a delivery drone delivering something to you, right? It's going to take lesser time. It probably delivers to you in like 15 minutes. Human being will probably not be as fast as that to deliver to you, right? If you order something on Gmail, for example, it probably takes some few days before they get it delivered, right? So all of those things, we have driverless cars, right? We have, you can see from the video that we have some robots that are even doing surgery, and they are even doing it better than human beings. And what does this mean to us? It means that there are a lot of people who are also going to, I mean, the adverse effect of this is that a lot of people will also lose their jobs, right? Imagine that store where there are 0 employees, right? Those people now, they probably should have had like tens or hundreds of employees in that kind of store, which means those people now are already probably lost their job, right? But then the other good part of it is now there will also always be opportunities, because all of these things that are being automated will be built by people. It still requires some human input to build these solutions and to manage them and all of those things, which is where we come in to do those things. So that's why we need to learn some of these skills that would eventually help us to also remain in the market. For example, if you are not let's say you are not even into tech, for example, you are in the HR department and all of those things, they might already have a solution that is already taking the place of HR, doing a lot of things that would have been done by you. So which means you have higher chances of losing your job. But then if you are also being able to meet up with the technology that are being used, you can introduce some things that will bring more value to the company. Of course, you also retain your job, and also even probably get better opportunities based on some of those skills. So which is why all of these are important, right? So not just low code or anything, but technology in general. It's very, very, very important. I don't think anybody needs to be told these days that tech is something that is quite important. No matter what you are into, no matter the organization, there is always a way you are using technology these days. So it's important for us to get some of these skills. So I'll show us another video shortly. So this as well, I would like us to also pay attention to it and also give our feedback on this as well. So let's watch.
I don't just want to make a living, I want to make a difference. When I left school at 16, my dad was working in Heathrow at the time, and this opportunity came up as becoming a security officer. I thought, what a great opportunity, my dad used to take me here to watch seaplanes and everything. So why not work for a company or an airport like Heathrow? I've been a security officer for 13 years. When I saw the amount of paper and time we were spending, I saw an app would be a great solution for these problems to be solved. About a year ago, I started learning about the Microsoft programs. I went home and I looked at a blog from Power Apps, and it said, this is how you can build an app. And I thought, why doesn't no one know this? Because this could have so much potential to change so many things. We have saved 11,000 sheets of paper and saved around 288 hours of manual input data. Going from paper to digital has been amazing. It doesn't matter what your skill levels are like, anybody can build this app.
Him with his community of super users have created 17 Power Apps that are already being used across our airport. And this is just the tip of the iceberg.
My name is Sam Ethani, and I'm a IT user adoption specialist at Heathrow. There's no limit of what you can create with new technology. I'll create a new career.
Okay, so that's another video. This is more like closer to not just talking about automation and technology in general. This now is talking more around the Power Platform, right? So I don't know if anybody wants to say anything before I proceed from what you gathered from the short video we just watched. Anyone?
Someone has to go.
Okay. Yeah, okay, Neyman. Please go ahead. Yeah, I think we
After
have
which,
to.
we can come in after Neyman.
All right. Yeah, so Neyman, you can unmute.
My little understanding of this video again is the fact that the tech industry does not require any form of formal education or qualification to break into it. We can see how he was just a security officer, and from there he was learning how to. He was looking at problems and then thinking of solutions to these problems. I think that this is also an encouragement to us, the participants here, that regardless of our background, regardless of what we have studied or whether we're in school or not, that we can do this. We can do this. If you permit me to just share quickly, yesterday something I was on a webinar yesterday and someone was talking from the US and he said something. He said he was working in his retail store for quite some time. I mean, almost all his life. He didn't go to school, but today he's so big into tech that when he talked about the amount he was earning in a year, everyone was super amazed. Everyone was dumbfounded. I mean, it was unbelievable. He was talking about over 700,000 US dollars per annum. That was what he was making, and he has never been to school before. I mean, and interestingly is the fact that you are seeing the solutions you are creating, helping or improving processes, and at the same time putting so much money into your bank account. So yeah, that's my little understanding from the video. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that.
Mm.
All right, Jubilee, you can go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'll be.
Yes.
Okay, so Summit's story underlines the keyword everyone that you have been telling us. The fact that everyone can use platform. Summit was a security guy, but he got to know online about Power Platform. He built Power Apps, and that made him a star at Heathrow Airport. So, like I said, it's a pointer to the fact that everyone can become a star in Power Platform. You don't need to be, you don't need to have a knowledge of coding. You don't need to be a star in coding before you make a headway in this Power Platform. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Jubilee and Neyman. All right. So just like I said, I think the story of Summit is quite straightforward, right? So it's just a security officer who has no background knowledge of IT or coding or anything, and he just came across the Power Platform and discovered it, and felt like, okay, this is something that I can actually use within this organization to build a lot of things, maybe a lot of things that we are doing manually and all of that, right? And that's why I said you don't even necessarily need to want to transition to tech. You can just see a problem, within your organization where you work currently and feel like, okay, this thing can be done better, right? And you discover that Power Platform can actually help you to make those the business processes better. And you can see that you mentioned that it saved them a lot of money, right? It saved them a lot of man hours because some of these processes are now automated. So, and that's the beauty of Power Platform. And just to encourage us, like I said, you can create a new career, for yourself, irrespective of your background, whether you did anything related to tech or not back in school. And that's the good thing about tech generally. You don't even necessarily need to be into tech or know anything or study anything around tech before you can transition into it. So that's just to show us how powerful Power Platform, is, and that's where from there, from being a security officer, uh, he now became the IT user adoption specialist. You can see how he changed his whole career just by learning that single tool called Power Platform. So, because of our time, I'll just go. So, why low code? So, yeah, the ease of using this Power Platform, it's quite easy to use because it's a low code, no code application. You just need to do a sort of drag and drop, and then you are able to build amazing applications that in a very short time as well. So which leads me to the second one, which is the speed. You can build application very fast. If you want to write code to build certain applications you will do on Power Platform, even if you go and call a senior developer with years of experience, it might take him days or weeks to build an application that you probably build within a few minutes or hours. And that's the power of Power Platform, right? That speed, you can easily and quickly build applications because you are just dragging and dropping, and you're able to deliver in a very short time. Increase productivity, just like you have said, like just like from Samis I said now, for example, you've saved like 288 man hours, right? Maybe monthly or thereabouts. You can imagine that number of hours. They will now use to focus on more productive things that will probably bring more value to the business because they already have a system in place that is automating some of their processes. So their productivity, gets increased. Even if they are not doing anything at that time or most of the time, they are resting or something instead of doing work. Then, they will feel refreshed and be more productive at the end of the day. Then the accessibility on web and mobile. So when you build an application with Power Apps as well, you can use it on both your or Power Platform generally. It can be used on both web and on mobile phones, right? Because when you need to, if you are familiar with how programming works, or if you ask anybody that does development, you discover that they build applications for, most of the time, they build applications for web differently from the one they use on mobile phones. So probably need to get a web developer that will develop the one on the web, and the one that you can use or install on your mobile phone, you have to get the mobile developer to do that as well. But once you build an application, with Power Platform, you can use it on both your web and your mobile. Then cost saving. I mean, Sammy's story again is another point that they saved a lot of money. They saved like probably over 11,000 sheets of paper, right? Because some of the things that we would have been doing with paper has now been automated, and you can now do them digitally. And of course, no prior coding knowledge is required. I mean, I'm still pointing back to Sammy's story, who probably has no knowledge of coding, before that, and was able to build amazing solutions that is helping the whole organization. Yeah, seamless integration between Microsoft and non-Microsoft solutions. So another good thing is that you can connect these applications, not just, even though it's a Microsoft product, it's not limited to connecting to just within Microsoft alone. You can connect to even products or solutions outside of Microsoft, right? You can connect it to external applications that are not even by Microsoft, even if my Google, my Gmail, my Twitter or something, I can connect it, and we'll see that as we go on. Of course, security. Security is also something important when you are developing applications. So Power Platform is also, quite secure. So because this class is majorly going to be focusing on, I've explained the four that we have, but this class is going to be focusing more majorly on the Power Apps and Power Automate, right? So the types of Power Apps that we have. So we have Canvas apps, we have model-driven apps, and we have portal apps under Power Apps. I think we already explained what Power Apps is, but I mean, once we get into the practical aspect, we also be able to understand more what these different apps are, right? So we have the Canvas apps that allows you to build Power Apps with using a drag and drop interface, just like I mentioned, of course, with very little or no code. You just drag and drop on your screen and you are building an application already, right? And it allows you to customize, put your design, everything like the way you want it. And you'll be surprised if this actually is Power Apps, right? You can put a very, very beautiful design, with Power Apps. And it can also connect to a lot of data sources, right? We've given an example of an onboarding application. So we have the likes of leave requests. Of course, every organization, they go on a leave at the particular points of the year. So it can be an application that will be used for leave requests and all of the approvals, expense requests. You can build an application that you can use to track your project or site inspection and all of that. Then we have model-driven apps. So there are also another type of Power Apps, right? But not so highly customizable in terms of the user interface, because the UI is kind of created based on the model of your data. So the model of your data that you are trying to impute kind of defines how the interface you also look. Then you can also add some certain components, and it's also kind of restricted to using Dataverse as your data source. It's very limited in the number of data sources it can connect to, or like the Canvas apps. So example is like a CRM solution, like customer relationship management or human resource information system. We also have portal apps. So portal apps are the newest set of Power Apps. I think we released probably around 2 or less than 3 years ago, thereabouts. So what they are used for is it helps you to create like it's still a low code. Of course, all of this things you are talking about, they are still low code, like a personalized website. But this, okay, I think I didn't mention that most of these Power Platform tools, they are designed majorly for internal use, right? But these portal apps now allow you to build a kind of app that is external facing. So you can build it's more like a website, right? But you are still doing more of drag and drop and all. Of course, you can still customize it if you want to extend it, the writing code and all of that. But for example, you want to have a portal where your customers can come in to make some complaints or make some requests, right? You can use the Power Apps portal app to build something like that. So it will look more like a website, to have a URL where they can go to, and they can have different fields and information on it. Right. So that's portal app. So other related things that we're also going to be talking about in the course of the subsequent classes, we are going to be talking about Microsoft 365, we're going to be talking about SharePoint. I believe there are some other ones that we'll be talking about as time goes on, but I think these ones are quite important. So Microsoft 365 as well is a cloud-based solution with a suite of applications that aims at business productivity, right? So I'm sure we are all familiar with like Microsoft Office, right, that we all install on our systems. So Microsoft 365 is more like the cloud version of the Microsoft Office suite, which now has much more other applications and solutions that you can use within it. So when I say cloud, it means you don't necessarily need to install it on your system. All right. You can just, once you have an account, you can sign into it on the web, and then you can use all of those applications on the web. Of course, it also includes all of the applications that we are familiar with, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and the likes. But there are a lot of other ones, which the Power Platform is inclusive, like the Power Automate, Power BI, Power Virtual Agent. We have the SharePoint, we have OneDrive, we have a lot of them, which we'll probably be seeing as time goes on, because at some point you might need to integrate some of these other applications, with your Power Platform as well. So SharePoint is also another important tool. So SharePoint is one of the applications on Microsoft 365, just like our Power Apps and Co. And what SharePoint helps is it's a web-based collaboration platform, right? So it allows you to share files, data, news, resources, within the organization. So we'll also see how we'll be using this, because at some point we need to use this as it's probably going to serve as a database for some of the applications. I've been giving examples of, okay, we'll build an application that you submit this and put this. All those applications needs to submit somewhere. They need to be stored somewhere, right? So that in case you need to retrieve them at any point, you want to connect your Power BI to it, then Power BI needs to have somewhere to connect to. So SharePoint is one of the data sources that we can use on Power Platform, where we can connect our data to and fetch information and all of that. So, okay, I think I'll just do a quick demo of so we see what the Power Platform or Power Apps looks like. Our time is almost up. Or I'll just quickly show us a few things around the Power Platform itself. Okay.
So while the demo is coming up, in case we have questions, let's prepare for questions so that we can get answers to all our questions. Yes. So you can just use the raise hand feature on the app.
All right. Thank you. All right, so so this is what the interface for Power Apps looks like. And okay, so let me just go to where we can see. Well, let me just go to templates first. So on Power Apps, like I said, it's a low code application where you have like an interface where you can do some sort of drag and drop and do all of those things, right? So there are also a few templates that are available already on Power Apps, where you can get started and quickly use those templates. Then you can modify them to suit your business needs, right? So I'll just let us open one of the templates to explore. So let me use this help desk. So you can see that there are a couple of them here too. So we'll just take this as a sample and see how exactly the Power Apps interface, the studio, and everything looks like. Okay, I think somebody wants to ask a question. Wow, this is loading. Omoni.
Hi, Omoni.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation so far. My question now is, you said something about Portal, how Portal is different from others, which is the canvas and the mode, is it canvas and the model and the data model driven. You said the Portal is like more external, unlike others that are internal. And I want to understand what's the external of it, like other package. Is it the low code? Can I build the software that after building it, it can be accessed like another kind of software, like maybe like Opera Mini, for example. Now maybe I'm using the low code, I build a software like Opera Mini, and it can be accessed like a same standalone software.
That's my question. That you can go to Play Store to download, right?
Yes. Without the person having an account on Power App and person logging into the Power before you can make use of it. Yes, that's my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for that question. Yeah. So for Power Platform generally, or Microsoft 365 generally, right? So I think I did a brief introduction into the Microsoft 365, right, from the presentation. So Microsoft 365 on its own, right? It's kind of suited for organizations or designed for use by organizations. So not like something anybody could just say, okay, I just want to create an Office 365 account and everything. So why it's designed for that purpose is when you want to create a Microsoft 365, right? You create one for your organization and you can manage the users in your organization, the documents and everything. Within that, we call it tenants. So it's a Microsoft 365 tenant. You can manage all of those, your users and everything, within that tenant. Now, for people to have access to your Power Platform applications or any other thing on Microsoft 365, then you need to have created an account for them on that tenant, right? So not everybody will just be able to have access to it. So if you build a Power Apps application, for example, on your tenant, only users within your tenant will be able to have access to it, right? It's not like the usual application that you can find on Play Store and everything, but it's kind of limited. I know Microsoft recently made that release. I haven't tried it out personally though, of you being able to package your application, maybe like an Android or iOS application that now can now be used. But I haven't tried it out, so I can't really say how exactly it works. For now, I think it was probably like last month or something that the thing came to this thing. So, but then the major essence of you having applications is applications that can be used internally within your organization. You see that most of the things I've been talking about is you building applications that you can use within your organization to do this, to do that, right? Increase your productivity for your business. So that's the main essence of the Power Platform and the Microsoft 365. So it's mostly suited or designed for internal use within different organizations.
Okay.
You understand? So I think probably
Yes.
we'll also get into, because this one is just like more like introducing us generally to the Power Platform, right? Probably in the next class, I think we are going to also talk about how you can now create, because normally, right, organizations pay for this Microsoft 365. They pay per user per month, right? So for each of the users that you have that you are creating on your tenants, you are going to be paying some certain amounts for them on each and every user every month. So I think probably the least license, so you have to purchase a license, right? So each license, the least one is probably like $5. We had one of like $20 something, $30 something, up to like $40 something thereabouts too, right? And that's on every single user every month, right? So imagine you are in an organization of 1,000 staff, right? Which means if you are going for even if you are going for the least license of probably like $5, for example, which most organizations don't even really use that, because I mean, the higher the license, the more the features you also have access to, right? But let's say you are even going for something as low as that $5 one, right? That means you are going to be paying like $5,000 every month, right? Or for your Microsoft 365 account. But then each of your users will now have access to all of these things, like their email is part of it, their Power Platform is there, the SharePoint, there are a lot of applications that each user would have access to, but it's more like a monthly subscription. So that's the way Microsoft 365 works. So, but then we will also now, probably in the next class, see how we can create our own account. So Microsoft has also given opportunity of for like developers who want to go into being able to also develop the application without necessarily having to purchase license. So they call it a developer account, Microsoft 365 developer account. So you can create your developer account, right, where you have free access to all of these things and be able to use them to. It's just majorly for development purpose, not for commercial use. So you can develop your applications, you can try out things and all of that. So for example, you can use it for your personal learning, right? Then you can now take it to your organization, for example, and introduce them to it and say, okay, this and this are, if you are in an organization that is not currently using it, there are some organizations that are already using Microsoft 365, but they might not be exploring all of the possibilities around it. For example, they might not be using a Power Platform. So you learning on your own now, you can take it further to the organization to say, okay, this and this we can automate, just like Summit has done, right? And say, okay, this and this, I think we can make it better. We can build application for this, and it will save us a lot of time, save us a lot of money. Of course, every organization wants to save costs because the aim of their business is to make maximum profit, right? So I'm very certain that they will be interested in hearing something that will save them a lot of money as well. Or even if you are not working in an organization, probably you are still a student or you are still looking for a job or something, it's also an opportunity for you, to learn how you can do this thing. And then when opportunities come, you can say, okay, these and these are the things I can do. I can build this. I can help your organization to do this. And of course, every organization is looking for somebody that will bring more value to their businesses. So that's the aim of the Power Platform in general. I hope that answers your question, sir. Okay, take that as a yes. So this is an example of a power apps, right? And you can see it's already an existing template that already exists. So you can customize this further to design it and add more features and all of that, to suit the need of your organization. But then this as well is something that you can also use. So for example, this is just like an help desk application whereby you want to log a ticket. There are in different organizations, especially like for IT department, when you're having certain issues, maybe you have to send an email to them to say, my laptop is having issues or thereabout, and they say, okay, bring it to the office or do this to it or any other thing, right? So there might be a lot of back and forth. So this kind of application now would help you to easily log a request to say, I'm having certain issues, and automatically those people will probably get notified that the person has submitted this request, is having issues with his laptop, the battery is bad or something, and they can maybe find a replacement for you, send it to you, and they can say, okay, this has now been resolved and all of that. So this is an example of an application that helps you do that. For example, we log in here and just go here and put the title of or whatever. Okay, let's say my laptop battery patch, right? So you have different options, if it's a software or hardware issue or something. And the priority, if it's something that is of high priority or something like that, and you can put all the details that you have here, right? So let me just say laptop battery use of quickly or something like that. So, and I can create the tickets. As you can see, this has been submitted and anybody can come, I can edit it and maybe add additional information. So this one now is for me, I as the user, I can edit it and update the description or change the priority from low to high and everything. You see that there is also an option for help desk admin. So this one is saying we can't give you access as an admin. Okay. So there is something I probably need to change here. So don't worry on anything I'm doing right now. I don't make much sense, but so these are the low code aspect of the Power Platform that we are talking about, right? Okay. So let me see if this works now. Okay. So it's able to log in now. So I can see this. Fixed keyboard, fixed mouse, right? This is the one I just submitted now that my laptop battery is bad. And somebody that is in admin, I mean, that is in the IT department can come here and say, okay, what's the status? Okay, it's now in progress. I'm trying to get you a battery. How many percentage? And then maybe I can assign it to somebody within the team, right? So let me just select myself and then I'll update it. So say when I update it, the user might get notified that this request is now in progress, that has been assigned to this person, blah, blah, blah. So that person at least is getting notified at every point in time. When it has been completed, I can go back and change it to maybe completed and all of those things, right? And change it to 100%. So this is just a simple application that kind of helps you to do that. And you can see that it removes all of those manual aspects and all of this now with very little or no code. You are able to build all of these designs, and you can see how beautiful it looks, and you can even still make it more beautiful than we have it right now. Well, generally, this is the Power Studio. I believe in one of the next classes, we'll get more into how we can get into this because it's important. The Microsoft 365 account that I mentioned, I think that will probably be one of the next things we'll talk about in the next class. How we can create our Microsoft 365 account so that we can also follow the classes, right? And be able to do some of these things that we are that we will be showing you, in the next classes. So when we are able to build an app, then we also want you to also try it out on your end. If you're having any issues along the line, then you can also get back on this and all of that. So I know because if I start explaining some of these things now, there might not be any way for you to follow through and also get this done. So that's why I'll just leave it here for now. So I don't know if anybody has any questions based on everything we've talked about from the beginning of today. Any questions, clarifications, additions, subtraction?
Hi everyone. Please confirm if you have any questions so far. Any question?
Okay, I think
can see.
Jibril. Yeah.
Good evening once again. So my question is this: let's say I have built a Power App to collect some data, and the data I want to analyze and visualize on Power BI. So
Okay.
is it possible I use this my app as a data source on Power BI, or I will need to move the data to another database before I can plug in the data to Power BI.
Okay. Good question. Yes. So, when it comes to application development, right? There's the front end, there's the back end, and there's the database, right? So Power Apps is majorly for front end. It's not used to store data. So Power Apps in its own cannot permanently store any data in itself, right? The only things that will be stored are maybe all the designs that you already have. But the actual data that you are inputting cannot be stored on Power Apps, right? So which means Power Apps is just a means for you to see those information. Just like when you log into a particular site, let's say your Twitter account, for example, right? Of course, you go on your browser or your app to view those information. Those information you are viewing are not stored inside your app. If you go to your Twitter account now, and you open the timeline and you can see all the latest posts and everything, all those information are not stored on your phone or inside that Twitter app. The Twitter app is just a means for you to see those information that are coming from a particular database they have been stored. So when I make a post, for example, that post is being stored inside a particular database, right? So any other person can go there now and see my posts, because so anybody that is opening his or her app and is viewing that post, the post is not also storing on their own phone as well, or their app. What the app is just doing is it's just connecting to a particular data source and displaying the data from that data source. So whatever database that our application has been, your data or details or whatever you post or anything has been stored, Power Apps, of course, also is a means that connects to what that data source and renders that information for you. Or you can also use it to put information, just like on on Twitter as well, where you can type in from your app and post. When you post it, it's not posting it and storing it on your app or storing it on your phone. It's also just storing it on inside a particular database that has your information and ties it to you to say this person made this post, so that when I'm seeing that post, I see that this is the guy that made the post. So there's already like an architecture of a database that has been designed by Twitter or whatever other application that you are using, right, that stores that information. Same with Power Apps. You can also use Power Apps to retrieve an information. Of course, you can use it to perform the 4 major operations. They call it CRUD operation. That's CRUD. So that's create, read, update, delete. Right? Those are the 4 basic data operations. So which means on Power Apps now, you can create a record or information, right? But it will not be created on your app. It will be created in the database or whatever data source you are connecting to, right? You can use it to read from it. That is, any data that has been stored on that database previously, your Power Apps can display those information. But you cannot just format and design the way the information is displayed. For example, like Facebook and Twitter now, the same way you can make posts on Facebook and you can do that on Twitter as well. But you see that the interface are different. The way the pictures, the way the text and everything are viewed, you can easily distinguish between. So that's more of a design thing. So you can you can design how you want your app to display that information. But the essence is, the main idea is just that the app is able to read from that data source. So that's read. Then update is an existing information, for example. You can also update it, right? You see, when I was showing this particular one now, where I was able to update this guy. So from 41 now, you can see that the status was initially in not started. I was able to update it to in progress. Here now I can increase this percent complete and update it. So when next I come here, it should have updated to 82 instead of the 80 that it was before. Or something that it was before. So that's being able to update. So an existing record that already exists in that database, you are able to update it. Then of course, delete. I think that one is very obvious. You can also delete an existing record from a particular data source. So Power Apps in itself does not store the data. It's just a front end where you can view that's your data, right? There is still a back end to it whereby, like I mentioned, like Power Automate can do some sort of back end for you, whereby, okay, whatever is happening within your data source can trigger certain actions to say, okay, whenever anybody submits a request, go and send an email to this person. So let's use this app as an example. So I can create an automation with Power Automate now and say, whenever anybody submits a new request, right? If I log in as user now and I go and create a new ticket and I put my title, put the information, and I submit, I can automate my data source with Power Automate to say, whenever anybody submits a new request to that data source, then it should trigger a flow, right? And it starts a Power Automate flow that says, send an email to the IT department that somebody has logged a new request, and they can get notified and know that, okay, we have a task to attend to, right? So they get that notification, they come here, view the information, and say, okay, this is what we need to do. Or somebody, maybe the head of the IT, assigns it to someone to say, okay, you go and deal with this particular task, right? And when he assigns it, that person also gets notified and say, okay, this task has been assigned to you, and the person can come here when it has been done and say, okay, this has been treated, it has been completed, and all of that thing. And the user that logged request can also get notified. So that's more like the back-end aspect, which Power Automate can also handle. All those part of sending notification and all of based on all the actions happening with the data. Now, Power BI can also be used in this particular case, this help desk, for example, which means I can create a Power BI that will now connect to a particular data source. Remember I mentioned SharePoint the other time. SharePoint, there is a particular aspect of SharePoint called SharePoint list, which you can use as a database. There's Dataverse, you can use SQL Server. So there are a lot of data sources that you can use. Even you can use Excel, right? Like your Excel sheet, and create a table, and all of this data will be stored there, right? So you can have different, depending on whichever data source you decide to use. So let's say you are using a SharePoint list, for example. We can now connect, which means our SharePoint list will connect to this app. When I submit on my Power Apps, it submits to the SharePoint list, right? Then my Power Automate will also connect to that same SharePoint list. Any information that has been updated or submitted there, it will trigger a flow based on that and take all of those actions. Then my Power BI will also connect to that same data source to now pick different information. So I can now build a visualization to see how many people have submitted tickets, right? How many are in progress? How many have been completed, right? How many are of high priority? How many has been overdue? Or, all of those kind of things. Now, Power BI can help me, but it will still connect to that data source. So that's why the data source part is, also very important. You have to have a particular data source where all your data are being stored. So Power BI can connect to that. Power Virtual Agent can also be used in this case, whereby, say, there are certain things that certain kind of scenarios that the IT has come up with. Say maybe when your system is not coming up, there are probably things that you can do or check first before you come and log the ticket. Because you'll probably be, especially in an organization that has a lot of people, you'll probably be getting thousands of tickets every day, right? So they might want to try and reduce that number of tickets in a way. So Power Virtual Agent now can be a chatbot that has been built, and they can say, okay, they've seen these kind of common scenarios whereby when your system is not coming up, these and these are what you can do. So it won't be an overhead for them. Not just like everybody that system is not going bad, even though it might be a very simple thing. Maybe you just need to check something, plug it, or just clean something, right? That would have been a ticket and they'll have to attend to it, which will bring them a lot of tickets at the end of the day. So that way, a Power Virtual Agent can be built so that you can go and ask the questions from the Power Virtual Agent and say, my system is not coming up. And it should give you different suggestions of things you can do, right? So maybe when you have now tried all of those things, you've asked some questions, they can ask, the Power Virtual Agent can ask you that, how exactly is it? Did you try powering it up? Is your screen coming up? All of those questions that a normal person will ask you, right? So based on whatever answers you've given to it, to give you suggestions. So if those suggestions don't now eventually work, then maybe that's when you then go ahead to log a ticket. But then if the Power Virtual Agent is able to solve your problem, then you don't need to go and log any tickets with them again. So you're saving them all of those time and stress that they would have spent on you. So you can see how 4 of these tools can combine. So each of them are kind of standalone applications on their own, which means they have different functions that they can perform. But you can still bring them together and achieve, a better result. That's the good thing about them, especially Power Apps and Power Automate. Both of them, most of the time, they always go hand in hand. Of course, you can build an app that does not even need Power Automate. You can build a Power Automate that does not need Power Apps. You can build a Power BI that does not need Power Apps and Power Automate, right? So each of them can be used to build independent solution, even though they still need to probably connect to some sort of data, right? But they can also come together. I'm just trying to give a scenario of where all this work can come together and build you a very, very powerful solution. I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions from the participants? Okay, I can see Jubri's answer. Jubri, you may have the floor, please.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity once again. There is an automation, an email automation that is very common. For example, when you're applying for a job in a company, when you finish the application, the next email you get is, "Dear Jubril, your application is done and we'll get back to you," blah 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 like that. So I noticed that it is a kind of generic email, the same thing they send to everyone. The only thing that changes is your first name and probably your full name they put. So I want to know if Power Automate does that, taking into cognizance the fact that, I mean, as like you told us that Power Platform is majorly for an in-house something, I mean, within the organization. I want to know if Power Automate can do that kind of email automation. Thank you.
Yes, okay, that's a very good question. I think I try to use that scenario most of the time when I don't always keep my mind, when I'm talking about the Power Automate, because it's a common scenario that almost everybody can relate to. There have been a point where you've registered on a site for something, maybe you just sign up and they say, "Thank you for signing up," and they address you like, "Dear Babatunde," for example. "Dear Babatunde, thank you for, or welcome to our this thing," all of those kind of stuff. And the one you mentioned, where you can where when you apply for a job, there's already like a template that you follow. The only thing that just changes is probably your name, saying, "Dear Babatunde, thank you for applying for with us. We'll get back to you," and all of those things, right? So of course, it's obvious from that place that it's not a human being that is sending that notification to you, because it's almost instantly after you keep you signed up that information shows up to you, right? So what that means is there is an automation that has been done, which Power Automate can also help you with. You can also do something like that in Power Automate, whereby when anybody registers, and I think maybe we'll take that scenario in one of the next classes when we get to the Power Automate aspect or as well, where you can just go to a Power Automate, and when everybody submits a new information, it just sends them an email that, "Yes, so thank you for this." You can do all of that. So Power Automate can actually help you to achieve that.
All right. Thank you, Babatunde. Does that answer your question, Jubril?
Yes, it does. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Any other
I think we've
questions?
kind of overshoot our time. All right. So I think sorry, Kola. In preparation for the next class, right? What I would like us to do so that we are able to move faster in the next class, right? So it's important for us to, because like I said, before we can follow this thing, it's important for us to have like a Microsoft 365 account, right? So that every other thing we are talking about, will make sense. You can try things on your own end, log in, read the power apps and all, right? So I'm dropping a link now. So you can go through that. You can just copy the link and save it to watch the video. So it will guide you on how you can create like your developer account. So once you've set up your developer account, it will be easier for us to use the Microsoft 365 account, to now log into our Power Platform, do our Power Apps, and all of those things, right? So that's the essence of this link and drop it. So let's all try as much as possible to copy that link and watch the video, go through it. And if you have any challenges, so that before the next class, we have this part ready, and then we can quickly move forward from there. So that's the essence of that link. So that will be more like assignments. So if you have any challenges or any questions along the line when we are trying to create it, then maybe you can reach out to any of us. We've kind of overshoot our time. Mr. Kola, I apologize.
Not an issue, not an issue. Even though he said we've overspent our time, it wasn't coming that way because it was engaging all through, and I want to believe that's how it was also for every member on this call. I'd like to appreciate you for the time. It's been an insightful and amazing one. Also to the participants, would just like to implore us. Let's go through the link. Try as much as possible to get your tenant ready. We promise to give you an amazing time. Once you get your tenant ready, then it means you are really ready for this course, right? So I think at this point, we're going to call it another day, and which is going to be another 2 weeks time. So these assignments that has been given is just for us to go through the video, open your own developer account, and we'll see you in the next 2 weeks. As Tunde said, if there please feel free to reach out to any of us, either on Twitter or on LinkedIn. Also, you can also reach out through the Power Platform Power Platform Naija on Twitter. Yeah. So if there is need for us to drop that, we can actually also. Yeah. So I can see people saying it's an engaging and wonderful time. Yeah. Thanks for that. On these notes, would like to draw the curtain, but before that, I would like to know if there are questions before we just take it up from here. In the chat, and also we'll get back to you. So on this note, thank you very much for your time and thank you for being attentive. See you next 2 weeks. Bye.